and welcome to the Tech Show. Today we're going to be talking about some new gadgets from O Chains and some new RaceFace wheels.
And, very excitingly, a dual crown Enduro fork.
What the F?
No, Formula. It's from Formula. Formula Belva.
Okay, so Formula Suspension have some, forks already. They have the Belva, which is an enduro fork, and they have the Nero, which is a dual crown downhill fork. But now they've brought out something in between, a dual crown enduro fork called the Belva. So check this out. Although the pictures are on a propane e-bike, as you can see here, they are actually designed to be for enduro. They're not e-bike specific, but you can run them on an e-bike. Now, should we just explain what a dual crown triple clamp is? Because basically, shall I go and get one over here?
Go for it.
Like we've planned this all along. So it could either be a dual crown, because it's got two crowns, or it can be a triple clamp, so it can be 1, 2, and 3. 3 clamps. I don't know why they're all called that or why we use that, but that is what it is.
Back in the olden days, we had quick release, we had bolt through, so it was like an extra bolt, braces, an extra bolt.
Okay. Well, so effectively these are double butted. They're only 35mm stanchions, but Formula is saying they wanted something lighter than a downhill fork, but more burly than their Belvas. So although they only have 35mm stanchions, they should be burlier because Formula say that most of the flex occurs up top. And so having that dual crown or triple clamp setup there should alleviate that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got details. So it's 170, 180. It's going to be air sprung. It's designed for 29er wheels. Interestingly, unlike, because many of you will be saying, but you could run a downhill fork. True enough, you could. But these are running a specific boost 15 by 110 axle. So not a 20mm axle as you have on a downhill fork. So weighing in at, 2.3-ish kilos, which is really impressive, actually. It's comparable with a 38mm single crown. It's not a kind of reworked DH fork, so it's interesting. I guess it leads to probably a bigger question that maybe lots of people are starting to get their fingers prepared for already. So do leave your comments below. It's always awesome to read your comments. But do we need a dual crown fork for trail riding and the Enduroers?
It's a very good question. I mean, companies aren't going to bring out something that people don't want. We're seeing...
Some companies have done that in the past, but you're right. Formula generally a smaller, tighter company, know what people need.
And I can hear the keyboards tapping away in the comments already of people going, they're solving a problem we don't have already. But there are a few enduro bikes out there that are being put into park mode, shall we say, and being sold with triple clamp forks already. So it's fair for Formula to bring out something more enduro specific that's a little lighter, doesn't need to stand up to the rigours of downhill as such.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think it actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe there'll be a lot of haters for this, but I think a lot of the bigger, burlier, like a 38 fork on a lot of bikes, actually would make sense to have a triple clamp or a dual crown. Like, it's more that opposed to having one single crown that's flexing, you're clamping it in both places. So it means, you can go down to a 35mm fork, which means that you can make it actually comparatively light in rabbit ears, but it's going to have more stiffness. You'll have, because everything's longer, you'll have more space for bushing overlap as well. Potentially you're going to have a bigger air spring. I know that lots of people are playing with air springs in terms of like putting spacers in there. But I feel like you've just got more space. I guess as a fork designer, you're not having to cram everything in there because everything's a bit longer and a bit more. More space.
Speaking of fork design, what's really interesting about Formula, and I believe you see this on the Belvas already, is that you can actually custom pro-tune these dampers, and usually with a fork, you'd have to send this away to a professional to get revalved or to get those shims in your damper to be changed so that it could be more progressive, more linear, or firmer for your body weight, or lighter. For example, like myself, I often get a light tune on my forks. But with this, with the Belva, you can actually take out the damper, and there's 8 different cartridges, sealed cartridges, that you put into the fork. So it would be almost like changing spacers on your fork.
Okay.
You could potentially do this out on the trail, although they don't recommend it, because obviously you might get some rubbish in there. But you can effectively, in 5 minutes, take it out and go, right, that's too linear. I want a progressive tune. I'll just pop it out and pop a new one in.
Yeah, something that you could do at the car park versus kind of going, okay, making notes in a car park of like, well, I can feel this on the fork, or if you're doing, bracketing and you're trying to set your suspension up. With this, you can go, okay, well, we'll do bracketing and we'll go really extreme on different damper settings. Often damper settings on forks and shocks are, as you've said, custom tunable, and often your fork or your bike will be designed with a specific sort of like, bracket or banding of what the damper feels like, whether there's lots of damping, which the other fun thing is that spring rate changes damping, and damping can sort of affect spring rate to a degree. So if you're always running on the upper end of the sort of spring rate for your shock, then actually changing tune might help because it might offer more support. And conversely, for you or I, who are on the lighter spectrum for some of the bikes we're riding, that bike has been designed for a certain spring tune, so actually the damper will be maybe a bit over damped and so a bit slow. So with this, it gives you lots of tunability.
If you can be bothered to play with stuff, I think more stuff to play with, more customization is always a good thing,
definitely.
In my opinion.
I think the customization is great, but thoughts on the Triple Crown? I think it's just great. What are people's thoughts on it?
Yeah, and it's also coming with a lockout. So see a dual crown with a lockout for Enduro. Is this going to be the future, guys? Let us know down in the comments below. Would you run one of these? Do you think it's the future? Let us know.
Okay, new in from O-Chain, which is not my brand, being like Owen, it's not related to me at all. O-Chain is a French brand that's making a kind of, offset system for your chainring. So effectively your chainring can move a little bit. And I say a little bit, between 4 and 12 degrees, and depending on which version of the system you get, it can move quite a lot. And the idea is that it takes out some of the pedal feedback from suspension systems. I mean, maybe you could run it on a hardtail too, but it's really designed for suspension systems to take out that chain growth. So a couple of different systems. You've got the original version with 4 to 12 degrees. It's got some improved tech on it. There's also one with external adjustments, the R, so that's really good. Compatible with more brands now as well. So SRAM, Shimano, Hope, RaceFace, E13 and FSA. And excitingly, I'm not sure if they did this before. If they did, I'm sorry for kind of missing it, but they've got an e-bike specific one.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
And now they've got some new fitments.
So they've got kind of like 2 different versions for e-bikes. So 0 to 4 degrees with external adjustment on the O-Chain S, and fitments for Fazua and Polini motors. So really interesting stuff, I think. I think it'd be really fun to try it on an e-bike, just because that pedal kickback, I think, will have more effect on an e-bike because you might accidentally press go or sort of get the motor to engage. Easy System has got an external dial to adjust it, as mentioned, so 4 to 12 degrees of movement. So that's how much the chainring is going to sort of clock round, and that'll depend on how much chain growth you've got or the feel that you want. And also it's got some refined workings of the inners and how it works, so more durable and less friction. It looks really interesting.
For sure, and having a full lockout is a nice little option as well now, which is new to them. So cool. So RaceFace have released some new carbon wheels, and they're really well priced, actually. I kind of want to lead with that. This is £799 for a set of carbon wheels.
Wow.
Yeah. Or $774 US, or €869. Now, effectively, RaceFace wanted to build these from the ground up. They've been working on them for many years with their pro teams. And they said there's this triangle of strong, compliant, and durable. And you can kind of have 2, but one of the other 3 would always be compromised. And they realized that basically the answer is to look at the wheels separately. So they wanted compliance in the front, effectively, and durability in the back, because the back is where it takes all of the impact. So they've upped the durability, which means that compliance comes down. However, they said, 5 mil of vertical compliance in a rear wheel is such a tiny amount when you've got potentially 150 mils of rear suspension, you've got your legs, you've got 50 mils in the tyre alone, potentially. So there wasn't much point. So they've made a stiffer, more durable rear by having a shallower profile, and then they have a sort of nicer, longer rim profile at the front, which makes it more compliant. Doesn't mean it's less durable, but however, they said they've sort of compromised by having a more compliant up front. And the reason being is that they think vertical compliance means that the front end will track better if it has a little bit of movement to skip through the tech. So it's really interesting. You've also added this anvil edge, which they're calling, and it does look like an anvil if you were to cut the profile in half, and it basically means a really wide bead on those rim profiles to try and prevent pinch punches effectively and splitting your tyres. So yeah, I think they look really good. Only available in 29 at the moment. They're 1,729 grams. They come with a lifetime warranty and crash replacement too. And what you can't see from these photos on the screen, because I've seen these in the flesh, is they actually have that nice little sort of old school carbon weave to it when they catch the light. They look really nice.
It's fascinating that another brand has sort of like mimicked something that Crank Brothers, who kind of pulled in someone from Envy and someone from a different wheel company, pulled in and did loads of research, and it came to the sort of similar conclusion of having stiff rear wheel and then more compliant front, which is something that custom wheel builders had also been doing for ages. So yeah, interesting.
Good point, yeah.
But very sharp price point, so interesting. More excitement, more limited edition. This is a limited edition Canyon Lux. So this one is the World Cup, because there's World Cup and there is the Trail as well. Yeah. And this one's a 20th anniversary of the Cape Epic race. So it's a custom painted bike. I think it looks very good. I'm more of a kind of Lux Trail guy, but still the Lux World Cup is a very rapid bike. So yeah, looks really good. On special, he says, for £8,000, which is expensive, but for an XC World Cup race bike, it seems quite a good value. You can't buy a rally car for similar money, so yeah. And
coming with a completely unique spec that you don't usually get with Canyon. It's a replica of what the team were racing on. So you've got DT Swiss shock and forks and wheels, and so you don't usually get that kind of spec. You also get that cracking little paint job where it looks like they've tried to use some mud to smear out the Canyon label. I don't know, but I'm into it. I'm into it. Anyway, let us know what you guys think down in the comments below.
Hold on, there's more news.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
No, this is big news.
Big blue news.
This is, you can guess the name, it is the Park BRK1.
Big rolling kit. Big rolling kit.
Well done, yeah.
It's like I know Park tools.
It is. Okay, it's a bit spendy, so brace yourself. It's about $2,000 US, so it'll probably equate to similar in euros.
Yeah, but it's full pro kit though, isn't it?
Yeah, basically you'll see these, these people on sort of like toolbox wars. I think there was a whole thing for a while. Lots of World Cup racers doing, well, not World Cup racers, but World Cup mechanics doing toolbox wars. And this is basically your starter kit for that. So you get an awesome box that's branded Park, so it's not just, some black box that's nameless. And it's got essentially all the tools that you would need to open up a workshop.
Yeah, you could,
it's awesome. Yeah. And it's got wheels on it, so it is really impressive.
I love it.
Yeah, so, great new product from Park. Very exciting to get into. Oh, we've got more.
We do, yeah. One more thing, just quickly, is that Sweet Protection have brought out some new helmets. So 2 new helmets. You've got the Fluxar MIPS, which is a road gravel XC style helmet. This one's focusing on sort of lightweight and ventilation with the new sort of thinner MIPS air system.
Oh, I think that's in the pad, I think, isn't it?
It's just a lot thinner, saving some weight there. And then for the guys who aren't saving weight, losing my voice, is the Primer MIPS helmet, which is a bit more robust, full trail enduro coverage, and that comes with a breakaway visor and the normal MIPS system as well. So, what was Crank Brothers' first ever product? Not wheels, not pedals.
Not tools. I mean, technically it is a tool. It is the wonderful speed lever.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so This is fully functional, NOS.
Still in packaging.
Yeah, exactly, new old stock, from my own personal collection. Yeah, effectively you clamped it onto your quick release. I mean, older viewers may not remember those, but yeah, you kind of popped it under your bead and then you could spin it round like that and it would help pop your bead off. Really good product.
You didn't do the sound effects that you did last time. Yeah, there you go. Okay. That's how it works.
That's how quickly it would do it. Old Crank Brothers logo, which is great because it's got extra finger. But yeah, we've got loads of winners because lots of people know Crank Brothers early products, which is good.
And if anyone knows why they've got 6 fingers on their logo, that would be really interesting.
I think it's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing. Yeah.
Nerds. Nerds.
Yeah.
Right, new question is Formula is an engineering company founded in 1987, would you believe it? They were primarily working on motorcycle suspension technology, but what country are they based in? Do you know? Answers in the comments below. Thank you. I have got a rewind. Can I get a rewind from you? Excellent. So we haven't had many rewinds sent in. So you guys, please send some rewinds into the uploader link down in the description. We want to see some retro stuff. I know you guys want to see some retro stuff. So in the absence of some user-generated stuff, I'm looking at these new Hayes forks. So first of all, let me cast you back into the rewind and look at these beauties. You've got the Yeti Arc or the ARC. You've also got the C26, this Marin as well, and the Amara bike. Are you familiar with this? This was new to me.
I don't know.
Up the top here. Yeah, it's new on me.
Yeah, I think it's Johnny Omar.
But I see. Right. Okay.
So it's Yeti,
on the Yeti.
Yeah. With the hoop stays, which is really good. So like one piece. Chain stay, seat stay, loops
Very
round.
nice. But what do all these 4 bikes have in common?
They all have the OG graphics for Manitou.
Yeah, they do have the old Manitou fork. So good that Doddy even tried to replicate it on his little Canyon bike, where he turned it into a C26, or at least a D26 for Doddy, with the Manitou forks. But what he really needed was these, which is Manitou releasing a new Manitou Matic Pro limited edition with that 1992-esque shiny silver coating. Full nostalgia there.
Yeah,
what
great.
You're saying, I think it looks lush.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I mean, I think the Manitou forks looked good anyway, and I guess the throwback to these old graphics, they just look great.
They look good, don't they? Yeah. And they're actually adjustable from 110 up to 150. So these are kind of like, no matter what sort of bike you're putting them on, if you're changing them, you know, through the time, they're going to be pretty timeless.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Would you buy an old sort of retro revamped fork like this? Would you buy this fork?
Well, it's a new fork, but
it is a brand
graphics.
new. Yeah. They'll be like, no, I'll just buy the old one.
Well, I mean,
Thanks.
they might do. No, there will be fans out there.
Will there?
Yeah, there is. There's a whole, it's wild. People are paying like bonkers money for OG Manitou ones and stuff like that.
Okay, well, let us know.
But this is the new one. It's really amazing. It's
Which
much better
would you prefer, the new one that looks old or the old one?
But with new graphics? And now on to comments. So Rich and I had a very interesting discussion, we'll say. Got mildly heated. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
And it was all about
affordability and what does affordable mean? Because there have been lots of interesting comments. I mean, lots, all about the kind of wording over the Atherton's new aluminium bike.
Being more affordable, but not necessarily affordable to all. But what does it mean?
Yeah, exactly.
What are
We've had
saying?
Great comments here. So, Rip Tear, affordable means what disposable income you can sacrifice without impacting your day-to-day life. But I think good value for money also joins this. I guess that's the separation of what you call value and what affordable is. So, it's, it was an interesting topic.
To break those two apart. Laurentius says, not sure how to define it. I could afford much more expensive bikes than I ride. Oh, so he's gone for value, even though he could afford more. Affordable should be something that everyone could theoretically buy. So let's say take your country's average salary and figure that out. But then anyone who's not getting the average salary, won't find that affordable, will they?
No, I guess that's where we then pitch, value for money and all of those things.
Yeah.
So
Minefield.
Carl Slater, affordable means it could be bought by half the population, or is this what you've just said? Oh, no, I couldn't stomach 2.5K being called affordable. Beyond that isn't really affordable. Nice car, nice bike, sorry, don't get me wrong, but it ain't affordable. More size options isn't worth double the price, in my opinion. I mean, that's really interesting. I think it is this affordable thing of lots of people will buy quite expensive cars, which they do just, unfortunately, cars, lots of them, not all of them, do lose money. I guess it is that price of what performance you want. I think there's lots of people who buy a fancier car for various reasons, not only whether it being reliable or not, because I feel like that's a separate question, but because of the status of having a jazzy car, but are happy with a less expensive bike because of perceptions of value. But
I kind of Kyle says it's not, having more size isn't worth double the price. I can see why people might be upset, but it's still a premium brand. It is Gucci. It's customizable sizes. The methodology of creating it is not cheap. But what they tried to do is make it more affordable than their carbon version.
Yeah. So just to be not custom, but 12 sizes, not 22. So almost custom. Thunderstruck, to me, as affordable is what I'm willing to spend, and my affordable is different. It is other people's budget or expensive. I prefer to live by value, no matter what the decimal point is, in the price that I paid.
But how do we define value as well?
If I get high quality for what I was willing to spend, then it's good value to me. Okay. Each to their own. I think that's a very good...
it's not bad, is it?
Yeah, that is. Because I think, some people's values are going to be different. And that's not just related to their income, that is a factor, but also what they value in life. And if that's bikes more than cars...
Well, I've got the answer here, because Work Less, Ride More says, I'd say 3 to 5K. That's it. He's a man of many words.
Well, there we go. Atherton's is affordable for this guy. Great. Love it. Thank you.
Answer defined. Okay, so other than that, what are we looking forward to this week, Owen? I believe
the clocks have gone back, so that's quite exciting.
That was nice. Yeah. Luckily, I changed all my clocks, so I got here on time. If you haven't seen last Sunday's video, please do go and watch that. It was my video about how clipless pedals and effectively how mountain biking came about in the 80s in California. And I think it's a nice little story. So if you've got 7 minutes to spare, go and have a look at that. Other than that, we will be hopefully doing an interview with Greg Minnaar coming out this Sunday.
Wow.
But there are some embargoes, so you might not see that Sunday.
Well, that's very exciting. Greg's very nice. Exceedingly tall.
If you see a video on Greg on Sunday, please do watch that. If it's not, then it will be actually probably Rachel Atherton's bike. And
also
yourself.
Nice, and also quite tall.
Also nice. So there will be a bike check of some sorts on Sunday, so check that out.
Awesome. And then Saturday, you talk about everything we need to consider before you buy a new bike.
Everything.
There we go. So if you're gearing up for spring to get out on a new bike, get prepped. You can watch this video. It'll help you.
Exactly. Thank you very much for watching. And if you want to join the debate down below in the comments about whether you think triple clamp Enduro forks are the future.
Yes, of course they are. It's brilliant.